Quick introduction. So first of all, thank you for coming this afternoon to this breakout session. I know there's a lot of great speakers and a lot of talent and great content this year at Talent Connect. So thank you for choosing to be here with us this afternoon. You will not be disappointed, that is for sure. I'm Alexis Smith, and I lead marketing for LinkedIn Canada, and I'm very excited for our next presenter. Just to get a little feel for the audience, just curious, are there any robots in the room? Okay, I'm curious. We'll chat after. Not many robots. We have one robot in the room, just as a disclaimer, and we're all about inclusivity, so I'm all for that. But the interesting thing is that we're all human, and yet being human is oddly really friggin' difficult. And I think it's because we get so caught up in our day-to-day, we're human resources, but a lot of what we do becomes very transactional, and it becomes about process and cycle and time to hire, et cetera. So it's interesting, and we're very lucky today to reset ourselves and remind ourselves that at the end of the day, we're helping people find their careers, and one of the most important life decisions that we all make, and it impacts how happy we are, how much time we have with our friends and family, our stress levels, et cetera. So really excited today. In the spirit of this theme of being human, I wanted to share a couple fun facts about our next speaker. So he is admittedly self-proclaimed a total dork. I'm really sad that I'm not wearing my high tops and jeans today for this session. He is also a drummer. He's been a drummer in the past. He is most known for his employer brand consulting, where he consults from clients from Cisco to startups. So he's got a really diverse group of clients. So I know we have a diverse group of people in the room. So if you are coming from big companies, small companies, the like, he's got experience and got great value to offer for all of you today. He's also admittedly has an unhealthy obsession for Star Wars. Any Star Wars fans in the room? Hey, shout out. What about Beastie Boys? Yes. All right, good. So we've got some like-minded people in the room. Without further ado, please join me in welcoming the founder of Red Pill Talent, Ed Nathanson.
Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you. Can you hear me? This thing on? Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Excellent. Woo! Yeah. All right. Thank you. Thank
Have a
you.
good one.
I couldn't wait to do that. I've always wanted to do that with someone else, the Bill and Ted. I'm pumped to be here. You better bring the energy, because I'm going to get it out of you whether you want to or not. I'm from Boston, if you can't tell from the way I tell. Yes! Yes! And I always start, whenever I do a speech or when I do my podcast, I start with a typical Boston greeting that if you're ever on the streets, you will see and hear all the time. Sup, dudes? Yeah? All right. Let's get into this. So, I believe we're at a really critical point in the world of what we do. Before I started my consultancy, I used to run recruiting at big companies and small companies, and I've been where you are. And I do remember the times when there was actual paper and all that. And I'm not going to sit here and talk to you today about how when I grew up, burgers were a nickel and you took your best girl to the malt shop. It's not about that. What it's about is the fact that I want to give you an example. We, as an industry, sat back and said, we have this issue called candidate experience, okay? Now, I want you to think about that for a second. We, as an industry, had to sit and define a problem called candidate experience. If that doesn't make you scratch your head, because that should be common frickin' sense. But we are so enamored with tools, with technology, we've lost our way. We've lost our way. And I'm at a company tech conference telling you this, okay? But you see this awful chatbot experience up here, okay? Now, if you're like me, you see in your feeds all day long, AI, the chatbots, right? All this buzzword nonsense. Have you ever actually used one of these deals? Sucks. Now, I always say, if you think of yourself as any human would, what are the three most important things in your life? Getting married, having children, or the choice not to, or not to get married, and your job. What's the first or second question you ask when you meet somebody is, what do you do? You cannot underestimate the emotion involved in that importance involved in that. Yet, we want a machine to do this for us. Now, I don't know about you. You might think very differently than this cat up here. I don't want a machine picking my wife. And I sure as hell don't want a machine having my kids. Although Terminator powers would be kind of cool. So, why are we so comfortable giving this power away, this dynamic away? It got me thinking. I'm sorry, I'm a big dork. You're going to see stuff like this. I can't help it. Why the anger, Mr. Hulk, Mr. Banner? So what got me thinking about this whole issue was I had a lovely customer service call with Comcast one day, okay? Yes, you're all laughing because you know what I'm about to say. And I'm going to swear a little bit, so if you're offended by that, sorry, not sorry. I had an issue with my Wi-Fi in my house. So I call up, press 1 for Spanish, press 2 for you're going to be here for 10 minutes. Press 3, you can go fuck yourself. Press 4 for you're going to be waiting and talk to someone who's not going to be able to help you, right? And I'm sitting there pressing 0, 0, 0. Give me a person. Give me a person. And you all do this. You know you do. Why? For a simple transaction is I just want my frickin' wireless back. I just wanted to talk to a person. But yet we sit and kvetch and moan all online about machines taking our jobs. We're willingly give it to them. There's a quote in The Phantom Menace, which is an underrated movie in my opinion. Natalie Portman says, how does liberty die? With applause. And that's what we're doing. We're giving away, willingly, the keys to something that should never be given to machines. Never be given to machines. So it got this cat thinking again. Right. And I thought about all of the different tools that are out there today and why they exist. If you ever really thought about why we have all these little tools for everything from video interviews to assessments to scheduling to screening to all the stuff, and they're all different. Why? It's to make our lives easier. Think about that for a second. We don't care about our candidates. Screw them. We want our lives easier. We want to make it so we don't have to do that stuff. Again, I go back to the very simple kind of thinking. Thinking about, again, marriage, children, your career. I would never, ever go through the process. And really think about yourself. Would you ever go through the process with a machine? And would you feel much better about talking to an actual human? It's something to think about, okay? But don't just take this touchy-feely guy up here's word for it. There's actual data behind this. This is from a human interaction consumer report, which I thought was really interesting. 70% of consumers surveyed about their customer service preferences said they'd rather speak to a human customer service representative than engage with a digital chatbot. Okay? Now, you're going to hear the chatbot companies tell you, and again, sorry, not sorry, that no, that's not true. Think again about the Comcast, and I'm sorry, Comcast, but no, you guys suck, sorry. Think about my experience there, and think about everything else you've ever done. No, I'm not saying all technology sucks. The fact that I can stream whatever I want to stream is all sorts of awesome. But when it comes to so meaningful, something so important in your life, as a career, as a job, it's not a transaction. We are in such a mode to fill jobs, to do it time of hire, speed of hire, all of these things. We forget the very basic element at the end of the line, which is the people we deal with. And people, no matter what anyone says, never were and never will be a product. Never. And if you think of them, get out. If you think of them as products, you're in the wrong space. The best recruiters I ever knew are the ones who actually, physically, this is going to sound crazy, talk to people. Right? It's amazing. Even more than that, this is actually from the ASA Workforce Monitor. 3 of the top 5 ways job seekers land a job are high touch, quote unquote, according to their survey findings. Word of mouth being the most popular means, 43%. followed by job board websites and employer websites at 30%. Contacts or acquaintance with prospective employers were 30%, and staffing and recruiting companies 25%. 3 and 4, 77% of the people surveyed actually prefer human interaction. Wouldn't you know it when searching for a job? We sit on the other side. We're so consumed with what we do, we forget what we're doing. We absolutely forget what we're doing. And as a recruiting leader, I used to run recruiting at companies like Kronos, massive companies, or Rapid7. And I had the same issues you're all dealing with, okay? And let me tell you something. I would always care as a recruiting leader more about what our candidates were saying about us than how fast we filled a frickin' job. Does that really matter in the end? Think about the people you're selling out into the world where everyone is online saying whatever they want to say about you. I'll take my chances with the former rather than the latter. So here we have Mr. Alan Moore, writer, wizard, mall Santa, Rasputin impersonator. Now I'd love to have a beer with this guy. I don't know why, I just would. He seems like the man. But the reason I have this up here is we, again, so in love with technology, have made our communications, our working, our inner structures of the very departments we have so frickin' specialized that this is coming. It is. You're going to have a Rasputin need on your staff soon because all the quote-unquote, throw up in my mouth, thought leaders are telling you this nonsense. You don't need it. But this is what we've become. I was having so much fun with this slide. Literally, think about what we do. We meet people, we engage with people, we talk to people. We talk to a lot of people. From those talks, we then say, we'd like to talk maybe a little bit more with a few of you, and then make an offer and say no thanks to the others. That turned into all this crap. Crap. And it's all because of technology. It's all because we've got to have the latest thing that's going to take scheduling away from Jim or Sue, right? Or all these new technology and assessment tools and all these things that are going to make us better at our jobs. The question again is, I don't care if you're better at your jobs. I care about the people that I'm trying to recruit. And if it takes slower, God help us. So here, look, everything from recruitment operations, administrative, systems admins for recruiting teams, recruiting marketers, TA managers, TA directors. And then my favorite is the grand poobahs, the happiness officer. That's real. Happiness officer. And oh my God, TPS report writers. If you don't get that joke, I don't know if we can be friends. But seriously, like you think about all of this, we've lost our way. I'm telling you, back in my day when burgers were a nickel, we didn't have all this crap, and we were pretty damn good. We were pretty damn good. And you got to think about, are we overthinking things? I think, again, we've lost our way. So this is what happens today. First stage today, and again, we're going to do a little switcheroo. We're going to go, we're going to go back, right? And we're going to be in our candidate side of things. And we're going to look, and we're going to say, first stage, there's employer branding. They're getting bombarded. And this is what I do for a living. But they're getting bombarded with stuff. Social media, career sites, PR, blogs, print, job posting, job boards, search engine optimization, email marketing, okay? Then the job posting, social media, career sites, all this, aggregators, ATS automated posts, now hiring, we're hiring, urgent requirement. Applications, then they get to your career site, there's social boards, job boards, auto prompts, attachments, form filling, EEOC data, chatbots, multi-click journey, tests, video interviews, gamification, and more. What the fuck? This is step 1. Here's step 2. Automated responses, email or bot conversations, several step process. This is one of my favorites. It's never enough to have people in once, because they don't have a job or nothing, right? There's only so many doctor's appointments you could take in your career. But screw them, not about them. Let's have them in several times. And then, of course, video interviews, which is my favorite crap thing that's out today. Absolute, okay? Online skills and personality assessments. And we're giving our candidates homework now. Here, go solve this problem. Take all this time you want, and maybe we'll talk to you. I gotta tell you something. In full disclosure, you could probably disagree with me. You'd be wrong, but you could disagree with me. If someone, I don't care how bad I wanted the job, if I was working and they said to me, here, go do this theorem for us, work 10, 15 hours on it, and then come back, I'd say, no. No. Your precious engineers you want, when you give them homework, 90% of them are telling you to screw. It's absolutely true. Of course, we never give status updates during the process. And then you come back, after you've been in twice, you do a presentation or panel interviews. That's not intimidating at all. Have one person across from 3 or 4. That's normal. Sorry, I get emotional when I talk about this stuff. And lastly, if that's not enough, this is the third stage. If they're not selected, well, we send them the beautiful Autobot templated rejections, because, you know, screw them. They just spent 3 or 4 days with us, countless hours doing homework, but, you know, template. Detonating offers, right? If you don't accept this within 10 hours, it's no longer yours. Emailed offers, because of course, talking, no, forget that. Online forms for onboarding, so you've made this amazing decision, now here's an online cold form, fill it out, we'll see you on Tuesday. ATS processes to close out the rec when all the automated stuff goes out. Impersonal and programmed onboarding sessions, but there's lots of swag. Hey, we gave him a Patagonia. And back to the first stage. As the Dark Knight would say, disgusting. Or shame, 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 shame. I wish I had a bell right now. Shame, shame. Not cool at all. But it's funny, you never think about this stuff until you actually see it put in front of your face, right? Because we live this every day. I hope if nothing else, when you get done with this and you go back to your companies, you think about how we've overcomplicated something that shouldn't be complicated at all. It's literally about relationships. It's about talking to people. But there is hope. Do you know who that is? Sarah Connor, that's right. God, I love the Terminator movies. The new one's coming out too, it looks awesome. But if you remember, in Terminator 2, Judgment Day, she wrote, no fate. Yes, we were supposed to be nuked to smithereens by the machines, but no fate. You can change this. We can change the course of the path we're headed on. So I want to start to give you some examples of different stages of the process. So this is a personal one for me, very favorite. I used to, before I started my company, I worked with a company in Boston called Rapid 7. By the way, do you know Boston is the home of the 6-time Super Bowl champion New England Patriots? I couldn't resist. Brady is my Lord and Savior. But if you think I'm kidding. So this was, this at the time we were about 150 people, they're now close to 2,000. One of the flagpole companies in Boston, a real success story. But at the time, we were about 150 people, 200 people. No one knew who the hell we were. We were competing against companies like HubSpot locally, the hot companies to work for. And all we did was we said, we're going to own who we are, which at the time was kind of bro-ish. I hate to admit it, but it was. Really geeky. You'd sit in the lobby and you'd hear Ice Cube play and all the F-bombs and everything. Right? That's who we were. And we owned it. So what we did is a series of videos, and I wanted to show you these so bad, but there's copyright stuff. So if you want to see them later, because they're filming, there's music in them that we can't use. But I'll tell you a little bit these were. So each of the values, we did what we called Rapid 7 at the Movie series, which was movie spoofs, speaking exactly to the audience we wanted to talk to, instead of the boring video of someone going, I love my job because I can be here and do stuff and hang out and pool, and beer, right? Nobody cares. I defy you to tell me the engagement on that stuff is good, because it isn't. It's a waste. What we did was these videos. So first is we did a Karate Kid parody. We did a Braveheart parody, the green face in the top corner, right? We obviously did Star Trek. Again, we were dorks. And Rocky. And these things went viral. It put us on the market, and it cost nothing. It was time. Why did people respond to this? Because it was human. It wasn't glossy. We made these ourselves, poorly. But people responded to it. They liked it. If we try to be glossy, that's not us. That wasn't who we were. This is one of my favorite examples. You guys familiar with Toast? Have you heard of Toast? I see some heads nodding. They're one of the big Boston success stories right now. And one of the reasons that they're standing out, besides being great product and great company and great people, is the way they brand themselves. They're very punny, if you can't tell by what you're reading here. They call it bread quarters. Everything's bread puns with Toast. But if you think about how this is their LinkedIn Life page. I wanted to show you a sample shot of it. How different is this than the corporate vomit most of you spew on yours? I'm not kidding. Passionate, innovative, dedicated, buzzword hell. Now, there's something you might look at this and be like, that is ridiculous. Guess what? You hate Toast. They want that to happen. I love it. This for me, that's my favorite, by the way. The favorite one is Donut. Forget to check us out on Glassdoor. So cute. Here's some more Toast. Again, about being open and transparent and sharing the good and the bad. Part of the easiest thing to do without overthinking things on the engagement side of things is be human. No one's perfect. We all are on Facebook, we're all on social media, we're all sharing what I like to call our greatest hits. Here's Ed looking the best he's ever looked, besides today, right? Here's Ed, with a superstar. We put what we want the world to see. But how about putting things that you don't want the world to see? This didn't start out so well, this one here, but people respond to it. They love it, and they learn. It's okay to put out there who you really are. Here's another example of Toast. They share their language. They share how they talk. I've seen it. They were a client. I worked with them in person. Right. It's all about bread puns, right? So you see here, this one post did incredibly well. Incredibly well. And all it was sharing something that they say internally all the time. It's taking who they really are without anything. That was made in Canva for free. Okay? You didn't need a tool to do it like they had to pay thousands of dollars for a license seat for. And it's real to them. By the way, we know what a crostini is in Toast language? It's a teenager child. Here's another example of a company that does sales enablement software, again in Massachusetts, home of the 6-time Super Bowl champion New England Patriots, called Allego. Now, Allego's a tech company. And you would think, well, tech company, they got to have the foosball, they got to have the beer keg and the cold brew and all the stuff that everyone else has. You're not special. They don't. And if you want that, they don't want you. And they're sharing things like that. Look at that. They lack the finer things. This is from an actual review. They just went to Glassdoor, took a copy of it, and put it up there. Okay? Now we get into the candidate experience. I laugh every time I hear candidate experience. So how full of ourselves are we? We create this whole thing that has to have tools and things for it that should be common sense. And here's an example of common sense. This is a company in New York called SciSense. They're a big data company. As simple as giving a pair of these socks to everyone who comes in to interview makes a difference. They feel like they get to know these people, right? And they're walking out with swag, right? But the swag ties into their vision, their product, what they do, and also kind of their personality. They're loud. They're downtown New York. They're brash. They want people who like this stuff. And if you're going to wear those god-awful ugly socks, sorry, SciSense, if you're watching. I just lost a client. No, I'm just kidding. It still leaves an impression because none of you do this, okay? This is an example here of a company called Constellation Pharmaceuticals. There are about 100 or so people in Cambridge, Massachusetts. They are in the business of obviously helping patients. But here's a cool thing they do that didn't cost anything, that shows exactly who they are to people in the candidate experience. What you see there is a screen grab of an office welcome video that they send to all candidates before they come in. They get a nice email with a video office tour, including her, our lovely receptionist, welcoming them in a first-person view, taking them around the office, showing them the people. They get to meet different people as they go through this journey. Didn't cost anything, and it's incredibly effective. You know how meaningful that is to people when they're lost in the sea of machines and the constant robo-communication they get? And on top of that, they send a frequently asked questions in their own language in those invites. Everything from like, do I need to wear a suit? If I'm there for lunch, will I be fed? Will you pay for my parking? Cambridge sucks for parking, by the way. They do. All of these things, little things that show we actually give a shit about you, really matters. And guess what? That 5 minutes it took to write that email and to send that to them makes a world of difference, makes you stand out, and didn't hurt your precious time to fill. It didn't. Now, we're also in the candidate experience side of things. This is such a cool example. There's a company based out of Israel that I work with called Checkmarks. They flipped the script. Now, we all do this. I used to do it too. We expect our candidates to send thank yous to us within 24 to 48 hours. And if they don't, done. And you're lying if you say that's not true. We do this old song and dance where we say, well, we're going to wait. And by the way, if he sends the same thank you note to the same 4 people he met, out. It's true. They flip it. The day someone comes in, only when they come in, they send something like this from the hiring manager, thanking the candidate. You could have been anywhere today. You came here and wanted to meet with us. They're telling them what we're going to do, right? And inviting them to connect on LinkedIn. People are scared of asking people that you might potentially reject to connect on LinkedIn. What horseshit? What are you afraid of? I say there's a lot more good than bad that comes from that. Shows you're a real human being. Not some again, I'm sure we've heard this 1,000 times, and I do it all the time just because I'm a glutton for punishment. You go on Google, you type recruiters are, idiots, scumbags, all this. We did it to ourselves because we gave it to the machines. Here's another example. This is a rejection. Now, I had to take the company name out because they didn't want me to share it, their name here, but this is an actual rejection. Take a second to read that. This client gets thank you notes for rejecting people. I'm not kidding. People thank them because it's rare. It's rare. And the fact that I have to say it's rare really sucks, but it's true. Taking the 5 minutes to write an email to show someone the courtesy instead of doing an automated template. And if you don't think they know they're automated because you can automatically put their name, hi Ed, comma, you're dead wrong. They know. And they know it took you 0 effort. And they leave pissed. They leave unhappy. We forget, again, what it's like to be on the other side. This is one of my favorite things. I remember back when I was at Kronos years ago, we used to send for people that we were considering near the end of being either an employer or if they accepted, we would take the time to write a, you're going to laugh at this, a handwritten note. Remember those? Yeah. Along with one of these potted plants and bamboo seeds and soil with the message of, we're so excited that you're either considering us or joining us. Thanks for planting your career with us. Sending it to their home. Now, this costs money, but the good it did was undeniable. And we stood out unequivocally against all the people who were not doing this stuff. There's no question. And this wasn't automated. We actually had to sit down. A machine didn't write our handwritten notes, hence handwritten. Okay? Now, this slide might scare some of you. Do you know what that is? I used to have a hard and fast rule. If someone phone interviewed with us or came in for an in-person interview, no email. You call and no voicemail. That's the easy way out. You get your ass on the phone and you talk to this person and you give them feedback. You share with them how thankful you were that you considered us. It was a non-negotiable with me. Non-negotiable. And you know what? It works. Especially today, because this doesn't happen. This doesn't happen. And it needs to. A simple thing of pushing that, see it says, it's kaling, I think it says, kaling. When you do that, people actually like it, especially over a stupid email. Especially over a stupid email. And even if you're rejecting them, which is probably 90% of the time with a lot of these calls, you owe it to them. You'd want it. You'd want it. Back to Toast, I just love a lot of the stuff they do. Now it goes beyond, right? When you hire people, you've got to celebrate it. And it's the easiest content you'll ever have. They have all, again, their business is restaurants, so this is the class of habanero. And they share their classes. They celebrate all these people that they're hiring, right? And they're doing incredibly well by doing very simple stuff you don't even need to hire someone like me to do. It's very simple, it's easy. And guess what happens? Their peers see this. People looking out at Toast see this, and they start to think this crazy thought, they actually appreciate their employees? Wow, that looks like a great place to work. Here's another, they're in the audience. Here's another example. This is a company out of Cambridge called Surface Oncology, and they are literally in the business of curing cancer. That's what they do. And it's the same thing. A simple generated post about welcoming new hires, putting things out there, talking to them, humanizes you in a way that you become approachable. It's not about you. It's about them. It's about the people you're recruiting and the company and the people of the companies you support. It's not about making your life easier. And the 5 to 10 minutes that it takes to do this is worth it. I'm going to give LinkedIn themselves a lot of pub here and say this. This is someone, this guy, I think his name is, I pronounce it right, it's Jenko. But I met him in Israel when I was working with another company, and he was their LinkedIn rep. And one of the things that always struck me about LinkedIn that they did better than anybody, and again, being human, is celebrating people leaving. People leaving. Nobody does this. And you know what it says to the people looking at LinkedIn as an employer? They're supporting me. They support their people. They don't care if they left. They're happy for them that they left. We still live in this old mindset of, like, you stay 20 years, you get your gold watch, and you ride off into the sunset. Back when burgers were a nickel. Doesn't matter. That doesn't exist anymore. We're in a day and age now where 2 years is a heck of a run. Heck of a run. Man, 2 years. You're a veteran. You've got to embrace it. And they send happy former employees into the wild. They celebrate it publicly. Go on LinkedIn after we're done here and hit #nextplay and search it. You're going to see LinkedIn culture all over the world celebrating people leaving LinkedIn. I find that unbelievably cool. Unbelievably cool. And when you do that at your organizations, they notice. They don't leave enemies, and they certainly don't go on these review sites and blast you to all to hell. You send happy people out into the world who would gladly recommend them people to you. So this is from psychology. This isn't just me talking out of my ass, okay? This is psychology behind this. These are actual from different psychological studies. There are 5 principles as we as human beings that power the principle of liking. First of all, there's physical attractiveness. You know, good looks suggest other favorable traits. As you're looking at me saying, oh my God, he's so handsome. Yeah, that's true. But besides that, it means honesty, humor, trustworthiness. These are things we instinctually start to believe and think about without even realizing we're thinking about it when we see ads with models in front of cars or Matthew McConaughey driving pensively in his car ads, all of these things. But this is now when we get to the human side. How can you use this to your advantage? The powers of liking is be attractive to the audience you want to be. So again, Toast sharing their crouton, their terminology. As many of you people laughed at that, some of you said, oh my God, that's ridiculous. That's physical attractiveness. It's putting out, the old expression, your vibe attracts your tribe. What you put out, you will get back. Similarity. We like people similar to us in terms of interests, opinions, personality, background. We talk all about diversity, that's awesome. But we instinctually like people similar to us. It's a human instinct we can't erase. We're going to do better at it, and we should damn well do better at it, but that's something instinctual inside of us. So again, put out what you are. If you treat people in a way that they want to be treated, they will give it back. They will give it back. Compliments. Again, we love to receive praise. Who doesn't, right? We love people who give it. This is psychology, okay? So again, saying thank you, appreciating their time, not sending them to ATS black hole hell, not making them do video interviews where they're getting facial recognition about they twitch their eye. He's not dependable. What a load of crap. Contact and cooperation. We feel a sense of commonality when working with others. Share what you're about. If you're about curing cancer, if you're about helping restaurants, if you're about shipping beer, what a glorious job. Whatever that is, own it. Put it out there. Conditioning and association. We like looking at models, of course, and thus become favorable towards what's around them. Again, create your aura. Treat people the way that you want to be treated. Be human. Take the time to write a frickin' email or pick up the phone. It'll make the world of difference. So here Tony Stark sits, okay? And again, I'm going to go back to that stat I showed you earlier. 70% of consumers, this is a much broader world than the world we live in, still want human interaction versus bots. So I don't care what snake oil they're selling you, these bots companies, about making your lives better. And candidates love talking to a machine. Anytime you hear that crap, I want you to think clearly about Ed on Comcast call. Okay? Except ramp that up times 10 million about how important a job is in your life and how much that means to you. And if you'd want that very same treatment, we can do better. We absolutely can do better. I've seen it. I see it in some companies, and I used to see it when we didn't have the Grand Poobah and Chief Happiness Officer and, Chief of making sure the water's cold, whatever crap we do now. We're overcomplicating things, and we're relying on making our lives easier. All we care about is butts and seats and getting the latest and greatest tools and technologies, and it's making us lazy, and it's making us less, I was an English major, making us worse. I was going to say less better, believe it or not. Oh, my professors would, and they'd roll over in their graves if they were dead. So, all of this is about just trying, taking the time. If you're leaders of your departments, ask yourself, is it really worth it to sell your soul to a machine to make your team 5 days faster and a job to fill? Or is it much better to think about all the candidate experience of the people you're interacting with and what their takeaways are of dealing with your organization and sending happy people out into the world who feel like they've actually been respected? It's crazy, right? What a crazy thought. I'm going to end with a few things here. So first is, if you've heard me talk before, there is absolutely a pattern to what we as human beings respond to. I study content every year. It's my job. At the end of every year, I go through Facebook, I go through Instagram, I go through LinkedIn, I go through Twitter, and I literally study the most, I hate the term viral, but the most viral posts, the ones that people respond to. If it's not funny, or if it doesn't make you feel, nobody cares. And that's the absolute truth. I can show you. I call it humor or heart. If you're not making someone laugh or feel, you're wasting your time. And if you think about that, just from a pure content perspective, think about how good that person will feel, why this company is sending rejection letters in a nice human way, or getting thank yous from candidates they rejected, saying, I can't believe what a wonderful rejection email, and then I'm even emailing you that I got a wonderful rejection email. It's because they don't expect it anymore. As much as we've been conditioned, they've been conditioned. And it's because we're giving it willingly to technology. Ours is not a technology profession. It absolutely is not. We are the people. My wife laughs at that because you might think, oh, Ed's a really outgoing guy. When I get home, I want to talk to nobody. She's like, what happened to the guy I saw on the TV? Oh, no, he's dead. But the reality is again, we need to be human. I really believe, and I'm saying this with 100% conviction on film, Ed Stradamus here, okay? The companies that are human will win versus the ones that are technology in the next 5 to 10 years. I absolutely believe that in the war for talent. So you can again disagree with me, and again I'll say you're wrong. I don't care what tool makes you faster. I don't care what tool's out there automating all your responses and interactions. You will lose versus the companies that actually step out and become human again. You will lose. And that's about standing out. I don't know about you, I never want to blend in. My wife thinks I dress like an idiot. Again, she's wrong. But I do it because I don't want to blend in. I know I look like a clown with bright green sneakers. I don't give a crap if you think I'm a clown. I want you to notice me. And you want that from your candidates. You want that from your people. It will make you better at your jobs than any tool ever will. So in closing, the title and this wonderful, wonderful band, Rage Against the Machines, No Fate. Thank you. So we already see, like, these are the people that are jetting out, like, I'm gonna go. But if you have questions, I'm more than happy to take some. If you want, they'll come by either with a mic or anything else, so you can come up to this mic. Go right ahead, right up to the mic, yeah. Bye, thanks for coming.
Is it on? Oh.
Yes.
Yeah, I was, I mean, all this is great, obviously, especially, really resonates from a recruitment perspective. But, when you take a lot of these concepts to leadership, all they're hearing is it's going to cost more money and take more time, so, right? So
right.
Curious as to how you would approach those conversations.
Yes, I would say, let me try. And it doesn't, you're saying I don't want to buy more tools. So more money is actually the antithesis of what the actual argument would be. Well, any experiment, anything that's new, like you saw, I referenced the cancer care company, okay? Anything social media is scary to death to them because they have all HIPAA regulations and everything like that. And it all starts with, let's do a pilot. That's a nice word that's very comfortable for them. It means not permanent, but we're trying. And when you try something and you start to show success and measure it, then, like the sentiment, track that. You know what you could do? Survey your candidates. Send them a Survey Monkey and do a Net Promoter Score in there. And if it starts going up and up and up, you can go, see? See? At the end of the day, they want the best people. The other compelling argument is, I believe this will get you the best people. Yeah. Anyone else?
Yeah.
Yeah. Melissa.
Yeah, hey, Ed. You said that video interviews are crap.
Yes.
So what do you suggest we do when we have people that are remote and we don't want to fly people all over the world? What's our alternative that's more human?
I wish I had it on me. It's called a phone.
Oh, that thing.
Yes. I love Melissa, so I'm giving her a hard time. Look, that's how we used to do it.
Yeah.
And what you do, let's be honest, when you're doing a video interview versus a phone interview, you're looking at the person. We talk about diversity, we talk about inclusion. You're opening yourself up for something you don't want to go down. You really aren't. And there's a lot of actually articles now are talking about the potential downsides just from a diversity inclusion perspective. Whereas if you're talking to someone and if you're good at your job and can actually speak to a human being and have an interview, you will determine if it's worth flying them out or not. No different than if you're looking at them and saying, I don't like that shirt, I don't like that this person is old or this person is young, and all the crap that goes on in our head. I'm not a fan. I never have been. Yeah. Anyone else? No? Thank you. Thank you for your time. Appreciate it.